Have you ever wondered what people wore before Crocs? Dare we suggest it was the original Dutch wooden clog? In this video, we'll discover how these shoes are made. Join us as we take a trip to Belgium, to where Paul's family came from, and also to recognise our World War I heroes. And yes, it is the launch of the Saracen Factor in the Netherlands, and we will share our impressions of this really great country. Why do people wear wooden shoes? Commonly known as clogs or klompen in the Netherlands, they're an iconic part of Dutch culture, so I had to find someone who made them. For my research, I travelled to the Zeeland region to meet a traditional clog maker, klompenmakere, a delightful man named Jaap Kramer. I convinced him to tell me the story of how he came to make clogs. How old were you when you started learning how to make the clogs?
I was 14.
14?
14. And so I'm learning him and asked to him, do you have a little work for me on Saturday to have some money?
And that was
and
it?
So that's starting.
And you never stopped?
In my heart.
That's what I love.
The youngest from the machines from 1956.
Really?
Yes.
That's as old as me.
And that's me.
We're as old as the machines.
Yes.
And we're still working.
Yes, still working. We also still working. Yes, yes.
Jaap allowed us to have a look through the workshop with the original machinery he learned on and still uses. It's a museum. We watched a video on how the machines work to turn blocks of wood into clogs. Klompen are water resistant, very important in a waterlogged land. The wood also provides insulation, so warm in winter, cold in summer, no more sweaty feet. At Saturday football, Jaap's feet are warm and dry in clogs. And they're orthopedically shaped, so you can't help but get good foot support and healthy posture. So a tree becomes blocks of wood, which become hard-wearing, inexpensive shoes. Genius. I also met Joke, Jaap's wife, and shared some wonderful stories about their journey. Such a delightful couple. Paul's grandmother was born and raised in the Belgian village of Temse. We walked the same narrow cobbled streets she once did, past buildings that have stood for centuries, but 100 years later, so much has changed. We stumbled on a big celebration, a true display of Belgian spirit.
We've just come back from the Temse Fair, and Pamela reckons that's my heritage, and that's why I'm so outgoing, and it's got to be right.
Fulfilling my Belgian dream. Been to the lace factory. Now, a hot chocolate. Put it in, stir. Don't put those ones in, they're purely for eating. A must have, the Belgian waffle. We've come to the town of Ypres in Flanders Fields in Belgium, and to recognise the sacrifice of all the soldiers in World War I. This is Menin Gate. Since 1927, every night at 8 p.m. they sound the last post. We're visiting the town of Ypres in Flanders in Belgium, and this was the front line of action between the Germans and the Allies during World War I. We've been to the museum and we've looked at the displays, But to actually walk amongst the gravestones of, just in this one memorial cemetery, 2,500 men who died, we will remember them. Our Europe adventure is a dream coming true, and great things are happening. But between me and you, there's been a few bumps which haven't gone so well. So here's the bumps story with the truths we must tell. First night in the van, no joy with the heat. At 4 degrees and dropping, it's hard to be sweet. At 4 degrees also, the water goes away. So no water on just the second day. Then fellow campers help us to recover, sharing things about van life that we need to discover. We decide a nice dinner will help us feel perky, but not so our wise card, which simply won't worky. We travel down roads which are just 1 lane wide, with a tiny allowance to pass by on each side. And we, in our wide van, must breathe in to pass, or get stuck in a ditch or end up on the grass. Or a temporary lapse has us going the wrong way just once, around the roundabout while Pamela prays. In a medieval town, a low emission zone, we're admiring the sights while our van is disowned. Road signs are a challenge, especially the names, because all the same letters just don't read the same. And the Google Maps lady isn't quite fast enough, so both driver and navigator end up in a huff. And speaking of small places, let's talk about our van, which truly we love. But imagine, if you can, the clamouring required to get up into bed or cook at a wee stove without bumping your head. And the colours of water that we never knew. Black and grey water made us green and blue. But friends have been made as we find our camp berth. Seems all love the Kiwis from the ends of the earth. But when no one speaks English and the internet won't function, when shopping only happens with Google Translation, when the laundromat instructions are only in Dutch, when driving on the wrong side is proving too much, we remember this is really our dream coming true. And problems have helped us make new friendships too. And each crisis gives us time to assess. This is our dream's reality. She'll be right. Don't stress. In his book, Europe Through the Back Door, travel guru Rick Steves makes the observation, the less I spend, the richer the experiences I have. We've kind of taken that on board. We really stretched the budget, bought a small camper van, but with that van we've been able to go to places that you wouldn't normally go on a tour. And I also realised that my characters needed to interact with real people. And so we have found them in small towns and villages and unique places. And in the process, we've discovered a beautiful side of humanity, of people helping each other and helping us, especially as they realise the quest we're on to have these books available for children around the world. And so I guess I could add to Rick's statement, the less I spend, the better the questions I have to ask, and the more support and help I get, and so the richer the experiences I'm having. So the Netherlands book is all finished and it's ready for launch. I'd done a lot of research for the Netherlands, so I had a general idea of what I wanted to achieve, where I wanted the characters to go. As I've experienced the Netherlands, the characters are feeling my delight. What's happening for me is that I'm seeing things, seeing all these elements from 4 or 5 different perspectives. Each character sees things a little bit differently, and so I have to see that as well. And so that means that the experience for me is multiplied. I hadn't quite anticipated the level of discovery and delight that my characters would experience. My characters are actually experiencing these real people. It's a completely different twist on my normal writing, but I really feel like it's working. As I anticipate this launch, I know, people have been saying, okay, the first 2 books were good, but we're ready for Europe. And that's how I feel like the characters are ready for Europe. And so now we're here, this is what's happening, Netherlands, let's discover the Netherlands. And it's now we're into the Europe series, and it's just going to build and build. I am very excited about this because this is the beginning of a huge journey. 12 countries, 12 months, 12 books. Netherlands #1.
The ebooks are available at no cost and downloadable from my website, pcreed.com. You can watch our other videos and follow our journey on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. Reids on the Road.
Well, sadly, we've come to the end of our first month here in the Netherlands, and it has been wonderful. We have really enjoyed it. The people have been amazing, fantastic places, history, and we've done the first book. It's all written, recorded, and my huge apologies to the Dutch people for my mispronunciation of anything I said. But it's farewell, tot ziens. We're off to Germany.